Deadly tension. China sends warships near Philippines as U.S. aircraft carrier enters South China Sea. The Chinese military released a video showing it conducted a combat readiness patrol around a disputed island near the Philippines, a defense treaty ally of the United States. The South China Sea island, Scarborough Shoal, known as Huangyan Dao in Chinese and Bajo de Masinloc in Filipino, has been under Beijing's control since a 2012 maritime standoff with Manila. Newsweek has reached out to the armed forces of the Philippines for comment via email. China, the Philippines, and other countries have overlapping sovereignty claims in the South China Sea, a region rich in energy resources and serving as a vital global trade route, often resulting in maritime standoffs and clashes, particularly between Beijing and Manila. The Chinese military has regularly patrolled around Huangyan Dao to assert the East Asian power's sovereignty. The disputed island lies just 138 miles west of the Philippine island of Luzon, within the Southeast Asian country's 230-mile-wide exclusive economic zone. The U.S. signed a mutual defense treaty with the Philippines in 1951, which stated an armed attack on Philippine armed forces, public vessels, or aircraft anywhere in the South China Sea would prompt the partnered countries to take action and meet the common dangers. Chinese air and naval forces were deployed last Thursday to patrol China's airspace and territorial waters around Huangyan Dao and its surrounding areas. This is according to the People's Liberation Army, PLA, Southern Theater Command, which focuses on the South China Sea. The Chinese military command stressed that it resolutely safeguards China's national sovereignty and security, and firmly maintains peace and stability in the South China Sea. In undated footage released last Thursday, multiple Chinese warships and aircraft were seen conducting patrols, with aircraft flying near the island carrying missiles under their wings. It remains unclear whether the footage was recorded during the recent combat readiness patrol. The Chinese patrol coincided with the deployment of the U.S. aircraft carrier USS George Washington to the South China Sea, within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. The American warship is the only U.S. aircraft carrier currently positioned to help counter China. The George Washington departed Manila on Monday following a scheduled 4-day port visit. Accompanied by the cruiser USS Robert Smalls and the destroyer USS Shoup, the visit was part of the George Washington Carrier Strike Group's patrol in the Indo-Pacific region. U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Eric J. Andrews, commander of the Carrier Strike Group, said that both Washington and Manila share a strategic vision of a free, peaceful, and prosperous Indo-Pacific, adding that their cooperative activities help preserve regional stability. The Chinese PLA Southern Theater Command said in a statement last Thursday, "Since June, the PLA Southern Theater Command has continuously strengthened patrols in the sea and airspace around the territorial waters of China's Huangyan Dao to further intensify control over the relevant sea and airspace." The U.S. Navy said in a press release on Monday, "George Washington is the U.S. Navy's premier forward-deployed aircraft carrier, a long-standing symbol of the United States' commitment to maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific region, while operating alongside allies and partners across the U.S. Navy's largest numbered fleet." China is expected to continue its military patrols around Huangyan Dao and other disputed islands under its control in the South China Sea. It remains to be seen how the U.S. will support its ally in countering China's growing military presence in the region. While both China and the United States claim their actions are meant to uphold peace and security, military analysts warn that the increased naval presence near Scarborough Shoal raises the risk of confrontation, especially with both powers operating in such close proximity. The contested waters have become a strategic flashpoint, not only due to territorial disputes, but also because of their significance for global commerce and energy transit. Philippine officials have yet to release an official statement regarding the recent Chinese patrol, but defense experts in Manila have expressed growing concern. They point out that while the U.S. continues to support freedom of navigation, the Philippines bears the brunt of the daily maritime pressure exerted by Chinese vessels in the region. Reports from local fishermen in Zambales and Pangasinan, coastal provinces near Scarborough Shoal, reveal increasing difficulty accessing traditional fishing grounds. Many have complained of being shadowed or blocked by Chinese ships, further escalating tensions between civilians and foreign forces. Human rights groups have called for greater international oversight to ensure that regional disputes do not jeopardize the livelihoods of local communities. Despite this, both sides have maintained that they aim to avoid escalation. The Chinese military emphasizes its right to conduct patrols in what it considers its territorial waters, while the U.S. insists on lawful, peaceful operations in international waters. However, with both deploying advanced vessels and aircraft, including those capable of carrying precision-guided weaponry, the margin for error is small. Regional organizations like ASEAN have urged all parties to exercise restraint and return to diplomatic dialogue. The Code of Conduct (COC) negotiations between China and Southeast Asian nations have seen limited progress, hampered by ongoing maritime incidents and growing mistrust. International observers, including from the United Nations and maritime watchdogs, are closely monitoring developments. Analysts suggest that the deployment of the USS George Washington serves not only as a military maneuver but also as a geopolitical signal that the U.S. is prepared to stand by its allies, especially when treaty commitments are on the line. As both Chinese and American forces increase patrols, the world watches with cautious anticipation. What unfolds in the South China Sea in the coming weeks could reshape security dynamics in the Indo-Pacific and determine whether this rising tension will be resolved through diplomacy or drift toward confrontation.